Hello guys, welcome back to #AskBRP. My name is Seth and this is episode number 12. This week I'm going to show you the difference between a real Louis Vuitton Alma and a fake Louis Vuitton Alma. As the manager of a high-end pawn shop, one of my responsibilities is recognizing when someone is trying to sell us a fake bag, because obviously we don't want to buy a fake bag and be out the money. And while some bags are easier to tell than others, there are definitely specific signs and things to look for that will give away a bag as a fake. Today I'm going to show you a really high quality fake Louis Vuitton compared with a real one. But before we get into that, let's talk about last week really quick. Last week I showed you guys some of the most popular items we receive on a daily basis at Boca Raton Pawn. So I showed you guys some really cool Rolex watches, some cool designer jewelry, and even some handbags. If you want to see that episode or any of the other episodes I've done, you can just go to bocaratonpawn.com/askbrp, or you can just search #AskBRP on YouTube. Now let's get started with the Louis Vuitton. So first let's take a look at the bags. One of these is real and one of these is fake. But from the untrained eye they look almost identical. The real one is called a Louis Vuitton Alma GM in Amarante color. Amarante is like a really dark purple, almost looks black. As you can see, the first thing that you might notice that's different between the two is the depth of the imprint of the monograms. This is the real one. See how the LVs are deep and pronounced, and this is the fake one. While you can still see them and they are pronounced, they're just not as deep. Once you notice something like that, especially on a bag like this, then you know it's fake. But it's very hard to see on this particular bag, especially if you don't have a real one to compare it to. Because if you're just looking at this, they do appear to be imprinted pretty well and pretty deep. The LVs also, along with the other designs on both bags, are in the exact same place where they should be. Sometimes on fake bags, they'll put an LV in the wrong place or one of the other designs in the wrong place. But actually on these two bags, they got it right. And the only big difference that you can see when first looking at it is the depth of the imprints. And the second thing that I noticed, which is really the only thing that separates this bag from being not real, this is the real one. On the key strap, I don't know if you can see, but it says Louis Vuitton. It might be backwards because of the camera, but it says Louis Vuitton Paris, made in France, right under it. And if you look at the fake one, it just says Louis Vuitton Paris. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't have the bottom part, which is actually okay. If we were just looking at that bag by itself, some of them don't have the made in Paris, the made in France part on the bottom, but if it doesn't have it here on the tag, then when you open the bag, on the inside label, it should also be blank. But as you can see, it says made in France right there. So they should match. And if you look at the real one, it says made in France on the tag, like we showed before. And if you look inside, you'll also see that it says it right there. So that's another thing to look for. It's a little bit more subtle, something you might not know unless you have some experience buying bags. But if it says made in France on the outside, it should say it on the inside as well. So what's really remarkable about that particular fake is that there are really only two things to notice that are different. Everything else seems to be pretty spot on and exact. Just maybe the overall feel of the bag is a tiny bit different, but you can't really see that in the camera. It makes this fake especially good and especially scary because you don't want to spend $500, $1,000 buying it and then have it turn out to be fake. But the one thing about fake items, especially with handbags or even watches or jewelry, is there's always one thing that the fakers don't get right. There's always something that they kind of mess up, and if you can find that one thing, and you make sure you look at all the right places, then you'll know it's fake. Because everything like Louis Vuitton or Rolex, they make perfect, and they make so that everyone is exactly the same. So as soon as one particular thing on the bag or on the watch is different, then you know it's fake. So guys, that's it for Real vs. Fake Louis Vuitton, episode 12. I hope you learned a little bit, and next time you go to buy a handbag secondhand, you know what to look for. Please remember to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Boca Raton Pawn. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/Boca Pawn Shop. If you want to see all the episodes that I've done, go to bocaratonpawn.com/AskBRP or search #AskBRP on YouTube. That is it for today. We will see you next week.